Alright, welcome back everyone. So, big story. This is a quick story on this one. The Sonic game that I was looking at doing, Superstars, I forgot about the virtual game card thing on the Switch. So it is currently operating on the Switch Lite that I do not keep here. So, still wanting to have something to run. I've got the Castlevania anniversary. So, want to run through a little bit on this. So, we've got a lot of the old ones here. So, I think for the sake of today, we'll do a little bit of Super Castlevania IV. This is one Super Nintendo era, so this is the one that I probably have the most comfort with because I'm at least comfortable with the controller. That said, of these group, I do think Dracula's Curse is probably the strongest game in this entire collection. But it's also the most difficult, and even like at my peak, I was only able to get to about the 5th level of it. It is a gauntlet. I've gotten to the final level of the original, just haven't gotten through the Dracula fight, and it's been a while since I've tried. And Simon's Quest, I would want to walk through pulled up, and I'm doing this kind of on the fly. So, with that said, Super Castlevania IV is a good place to start. It's basically the remake of Castlevania 1 anyway. Now, you see, something like this is where I can kind of understand where people were saying, like, it's not great to take the graphics of games that were meant to be played on CRTs and trying to use them in person, because while this does still look impressive, like, for the limitations, you see a lot of the flaws that would have been blocked out by the CRT because it was designed to blend into the CRT and look more intimidating. Here we go. Yeah, I'm letting the original narration run through. But yeah, remember looking at the way this looked on a CRT, like the clouds rolling in, it actually does look like it's being engulfed. It does really affect the way the room works. Oh, thank you. Yep, the whole setup here. So every 100 years, the forces of good mysteriously start to weaken. Thus, the power of Dracula starts to revive itself. His power grows stronger and stronger every 100 years. Dracula has revived many times, however, his sinister actions have been consistently thwarted by the Belmont family. Yeah, this is technically supposed to be canonical to the novel, by the way. It has been 100 years since the last confrontation between Dracula and the Belmont family, but now the serenity of Transylvania is being threatened by destructive forces. If I recall correctly, the events of Dracula take place between Richter and the next Belmont from there. On a dark and eerie night, Dracula rose from his grave to unleash his destructive power over the countryside. Once again, Simon Belmont is called upon to destroy Dracula. With only his whip and courage, he sets out to restore peace to Transylvania. Yeah, like this the cloud work here is really artistic. It doesn't look intimidating. With the CRT, it was meant to feel like it was engulfing the screen, and that was a legitimately cool feat that you could only do when you were actually thinking about what the TV screen was doing. In any case, we are finally ready for the main game. just go with... And here we go. It is time. I don't know why they bother with the character name when it doesn't really show up. And really the only thing we're doing here is gathering up an arsenal, building up some hearts for the sub-weapon, the knife, which, honestly, the knife in this game doesn't do much. And I have no idea why that jump didn't kick in. For me, there'll be a lot of RPGs on here once I actually have a have something in place to do the voice work, because I don't want to just run through a whole bunch of RPGs and like visual novels without any type of face in here. And right now the rigging process for my model is still being done, so I'm gonna hold off on those until I'm actually able to, which is why I'm kind of going through the old platformers right now, because I'm at least the games I haven't gotten to touch in a while, even though I've been meaning to. So yeah, Fire Emblem will show up here. Final Fantasy will show up here. I want to finish Dragon Quest XI. I might have to start that one's entire file over. It's been so long, I've actually forgotten where I am in the entire process on that game. You know, I saw the bat there and was like, I should probably wait till the bat passes, and then I just opened the gate anyway. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Alright, now I got the axe. Hold on a second. There we go. I was trying to remember the old setup. It's the right button that's the alternate weapon. There we go. Thing is, the alt weapon in this game is actually much, much weaker than in past. Oh, I just forgot that there's a piece of meat in there. Oh, too late now. I was going to start that over. Beyond this, a little bit of creative writing, but that opportunity will come up probably later on, as I'll probably go through some of that stuff on streams. But again, there's a lot of content I'm just waiting on the ability to do, and it should be coming up in the next couple of weeks, so that'll be exciting. Then a lot of been trying to weight train a little bit. There we go. I can finally start heading on up. There we go. There is so much in this game that is a constant threat. I will say, before Konami became a gambling manufacturer to a complete extent, like, not just in terms of the gacha stuff, like, literally they are, like, known for making casino machines. They were excellent at creating hard to the point of being addictive games like the Castlevania franchise. So they were also the group that brought in Contra, and that one was wild experience. All right. There we go. There's enough of a gap that I can still hit. So that's how. Oh. Yeah, I'm just gonna straight walk past these things. Here we go. And now I gotta worry about horse heads the whole time. Okay, I'm just gonna try to outrun them. Yeah, that was not the smart way to do that, but got me out of there. Got the time stopper now. I like that this level is long enough that it gives you an understanding of what these things actually are. You can actually see it in action. Yeah, fairly generous first level by the standard of Castlevania. Alright, here we go, here we go. Getting down, getting down, getting down. And down we go. Not quite yet, nah. Oh. Might be something at another time, but yeah, for, now I know I'm coming up close to the end of my go, so there'll be some potentially for a, future time. Oh, whoop, was not supposed to go down. I just realized, this is the first Castlevania I think I've seen where you can actually go down after you've cleared a screen. Or at least this close to the boss. Alright, I gotta actually start timing this. There we go. Got it. Got it. And here we go. Time to go down. Well, first. Alright, back to full strength this time. I do have the knife, so... Alright, there we go. First level. This day I'm still not sure why you need to collect the orb afterwards, but it is kind of like a feeling of victory, especially if you can meet it mid-air. Alright, stage 2. There we go. The tiny spider is definitely the problem. That's why they do give you the axe, but... Ooh. I guess that actually worked out in my favor, though, because now I get a fresh set of lives with this. Here we go. Going for the hands. Okay. All right, here we go. Here we go. Going down. Moving down. 1, 2. Oh, wait. So I'm going to actually remember it. What is with the rolling villains today? We had the armadillos, and this thing looks like one, too. Ah, missed. Got him. Oh, we're on the one where it moves up. This is not the most fun, because realistically, what is actually going to be the thing that kills you on this? It's going to be the fact that the ground elevated, but it's not like the ground below actually stops existing. Luckily, I was still in the air for the jump, so that never actually became a hit. So I've gotten to my checkpoint. All right, there we go. At least the birds are somewhat easy to predict. All right. I have the time stopper, which will be helpful right now. Yeah, this is a dangerous stage, but it's nothing like unbeatable. Just requires some focus. Yeah, definitely not a game to be playing early on in the once I actually go to the full hosting situation, because I want something I'm able to talk through fairly easily. I think that's why I'm thinking the first thing I'm gonna do once it's or one of the first ones is gonna be a racing game like the new Crossroads that I've already, or Crossworlds that I just pre-ordered. That's gonna be a good one to start with. Also, might do a little bit of the 51, Clubhouse 51. So that'll be an interesting way to start. Just stuff that's very basic and clean to go with. Also stuff that is a little more narrative based, but not that difficult to win at. But I do want to start off with something that I don't think too hard on. And then once I do that, it'll give me a chance to narrate a little more directly. I'll be able to pay more attention to all the goings on. just taking everything down right now. And the Belmont family, they are built with this power. Right, here we go. Oh, I'm not going to survive this. Nope. Well, at least I'm close enough that I should have a chance. There we go. I'm trying to get through here is... Yes, just like that. That's what I'm looking for. Oh boy. Alright, there we go. I think this one's working a little bit easier now. I'm going to be on basically no health for the Medusa. I will not survive this fight. I mean, the hope at this point is let that go. And then the hope at this point will be nothing. There's nothing that's coming from that one. Alright, we're on the last one then. That was just a one mistake made, and then all the other mistakes happened with it. Would be fun here though is now I'm thinking about it. Baldur's Gate 1 might be a good one because it's very narrative based and it's also gonna be more turn based, which means I have a little bit more control over the timing. So that might be something that comes up. Because I've wanted to get into Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 since I started playing 3. Didn't really get into completing 3. That frog's got it out for me. Yep, there we go. Kind of figured that was coming. Yeah, this one won't be one I go to like super often because I was just kind of picking something quickly. If I had actually thought about it, I would have gone with the other Castlevania collection because my favorite of the Castlevania games is Castlevania Dracula X, which is not one that a lot of people have seen because it was at the very end of the Super Nintendo's life. But it's basically the Super Nintendo's port of Rondo of Blood, which was a PC Engine game. And a lot of people swear by that one a lot more. I do see, from a storytelling standpoint, it is a better game. But in terms of the Castlevania style, it is probably the one that fully realized what the original NES trilogy was trying to do, because it mostly stuck to the 2-button format, with the exception of giving the special its own spot, or the option to do it. So, yeah, I enjoyed that a good deal. This one will not be super long because, for obvious reasons, we are just kind of doing a filler here, and we are kind of going into setup for what's coming in the near future. As I said, I've started to see the rigging in process. It looks good. I will start, once I have everything on the model ready, I'm going to start preparing a proper debut, and that'll be my plans going forward there. Oh, and sorry, I do see the message now. I just, from behind. And as I said, I'll probably be looking more at that stuff once we're actually up and running for real. But you can always send a message through Twitch on that. But yeah, I'm going to step off for today, though, because we have reached the end of the road here, and I will talk to you all soon. So enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.